Beautiful Mold: How the Storage of Bread Affects Mold Growth, conducted March 2012 by April West. Mold is a truly beautiful thing. For example, the background of this slide looks like it could be some fancy art in a gallery, right? Well, it's actually a picture of bread mold under a microscope. How cool is that? But what is mold? Mold is a fungus. All fungi, molds, yeast, mushrooms, and relatives, are masses of fine branching threads or tubes called hyphae, spreading outwards in their quest for food. However, we seldom see most of the living parts of a fungus. They lie concealed beneath the surface of its substrate, which in this case is the slice of bread. Like plants, fungi have bodies composed of cells, but unlike plants, they lack chlorophyll, the molecule used in photosynthesis to produce sugars with the help of sunlight. Instead, fungi feed themselves in an animal-like way. They utilize plant and other organic matter by releasing a variety of powerful enzymes into their surroundings. Enzymes break complex organic matter into simpler water-soluble compounds. Rhizopus stolonifer, also known as bread mold, has the ability to quickly form on any surface which it can obtain food. This is due to the abundance and common presence of bread mold spores in the air. This mold is dependent on sugar and starch, which it acquires from food matters such as breads. Bread mold appears as either a greyish fluffy mass or a blue or yellow coloured coating on the bread. Black spores may also be visible to the eye, and they look like black specks. As long as the environment is warm and moist with an abundance of oxygen, the mold has the ability to acquire all of the nutrients it needs in order to grow to its full potential. Here are some fun facts. Fungi toughen their cell walls with chitin, the material that also forms the exoskeletons of insects, crabs, and lobsters. Scientists believe that molds have been around for about 3 billion years. The study of molds has led to much knowledge and many benefits, including the discovery of penicillin. And if you like to drink lemonade, you need to give credit to the molds that manufacture the citric acid used to flavour many soft drinks. So we owe a lot to mold. In order to end the feud between the housemates, the aim of my experiment is to determine how the storage condition of bread affects mold growth, in order to conclude once and for all how bread should be stored in our house. I believe that the more exposed the bread is to oxygen and moisture, the higher the percentage of mold growth will be. Therefore, the sealed and moist bread and the unsealed bread will grow more mold than the sealed, dry bread. These next two slides describe my methods step by step, but I'll summarise the main ideas for you. Basically, I took one loaf of white bread and using a cookie cutter made 9 circles of white bread. I placed all of them into petri dishes. 3 were left uncovered, 3 were sealed with adhesive tape around the rim, and I added a teaspoon of water before sealing the last 3. These were labelled A. Unsealed bread, B. Sealed bread but dry, C. Sealed bread but wet. I then placed the petri dishes on our kitchen bench, where we usually keep our bread. I know it's gross, but it was for the good of science. I placed the dishes about 10 centimetres apart from each other. Every day I used the see-through circular grid measurer to monitor the mold growth and recorded it in a table. I also worked out the percentage of mold growth. I recorded the data for 6 days. These were my daily results. The clear circular grid that I placed over the mold had 16 squares, so to find the percentage I recorded the number of squares showing mold, divided this number by 16 and times it by 100. The resulting number was the percentage of mold that was evident that day. table and graph combines all the results from the previous table. For each day I added the 3 trials from one storage condition and calculated the averages. As you can see, the sealed moist trials grew the most percentage of mould the fastest, which was expected. However, what is surprising is that the sealed dry bread grew more mould than the unsealed bread. Knowing that mould grows more quickly with an abundance of oxygen, surely the unsealed bread would grow more mould, right? Well, thinking back to the mould's ideal environment, it states that in order for mould to grow, it needs damp. The uncovered bread dried out too quickly, and with the amount of preservatives packed into the white bread, it was unable to grow mould within 6 days. It is important to take this into consideration when analysing these results. If the experiment was conducted in winter, when the air is more moist, then the results would have been completely different, thus also bringing the reliability of this experiment into question. Thanks for listening. Stay tuned for the references.